Alrighty, so this is going to be the video instructions for NTI days 5 and 6, which is going to be evolutionary history, which you can see up here at the top. Evolutionary history, chapter 3, lesson 3, so 3.3. I cut out the whole going through because I figured you probably got it at this point. So, going straight in. First thing you're going to do is the warm-up, which I'm already clicked into right now. In the warm-up, you're going to see there is a message from our museum director, which goes back to that scenario we started at the beginning of the unit, where we have our mystery fossil and we're trying to figure out what exhibit it belongs in. And down here you have a question to choose which one you agree with. You might also remember that we eliminated the crocodiles, which was one of our options because of it laying eggs instead of giving birth to live young. And so now we're trying to really narrow it down between whales and wolves, and this lesson is going to help you do that. Once you have done the warm-up, make sure you click hand in, and then you'll go into 2. And this 2 and 3 are going to be a little bit tricky because we have some extra added into it, which I'll get into in a second. But I want to direct your attention to our chapter question, which usually I'll have you add to the notebook and stuff, which you can do that, but you're actually going to kind of end up answering this throughout the lesson and kind of supporting it with evidence as we go through. So either way, this question is going to be important and you're going to end up answering it, so you want to be thinking about it as you go through. So the question is, how can we tell if the mystery fossil is more closely related to wolves or whales? Like I said, you're going to kind of be going through some of that today. You're going to see down here that there's going to be a lot of cards. So we have orca whale skeleton, gray wolf skeleton, and it is asking you to look at the differences in these structures. And you're going to kind of think about what you notice, the highlighted portions, but you remember these are the certain things: pelvis, radius, ulna, distal bones. We have nostrils, things like that. You're going to be kind of comparing. Go ahead and type that in here. Also remember diagnostic. This word right here that you're going to run into a lot is more like related, similar. So kind of along the lines of things that we've been doing. Like I said, don't forget to hand in down here. And then the number 3 activity. In the number 3 activity, as I scroll down, you're going to notice that there's some more pictures and it references a card sort. So the cards look sort of like this, and I kind of have them scrolled in. So we have different cards. There's 2 sets of cards. There's all of these, and there's also ones that look like this. What we did is we turned these into Google Forms. So in the classroom, you're going to notice that you're going to have 2 Google Forms for this lesson 3.3. So this first one, you can notice the similarities here with all the similar cards. So we put these cards in here for you, and there's a little drop-down menu for you to kind of be able to analyze these cards and figure out the evidence that it provides. So you're going to go through all of those, and you're going to make sure you submit it at the end. So that's one of them. I said there was 2, so here's the second one. And this one kind of covers the other set of cards. So you're going to go through, make some observations, kind of look and answer these and submit that. So really make sure, this is a little bit tricky because we're adding these to kind of supplement that card sort that you can't really do because you don't really have access to those cards. So what I would recommend is do 1 and 2, and then after 2, then you can go to those 2 Google Forms, and then you can start with activity 3, because like I said, activity 3 kind of goes along with it, and activity 3 is also like the culmination of all of it. So you kind of look at all those cards, gather your evidence, gather some thoughts, and then here's where you're going to be deciding which claim you agree with. So we have claim 1, that the mystery fossil belongs with the whales, and then claim 2, that it belongs with the wolves. So you need to decide which one. If I was you, I would decide a little bit early on. That way, when you're looking through all those evidence cards, maybe you can use some of those evidence pieces to back up your claim, which you'll need to in a second. So, moving on to activity 4. Down here, you're going to see an evolutionary tree, and there's 2, the whale and the wolf, and they want you to decide where to place them. So you can see we have mammals here, which we talked a lot about mammals before we were out, and the characteristics of mammals. And then we have our mystery fossil. So obviously mammals is a key thing, which gave way to our 3 species. So it's up to you to decide where you think it belongs based on all of the things that you've been looking at. So you can do that and hand that in. Alrighty, and then the number 5 assignment is going to be where you're actually writing up which claim you pick and your evidence to back that up. You have plenty of things to look at. Remember, you have the resources, you have the cards. With that Google form, hopefully you got some out of that. You should be able to access it even though you submitted, so you can look at the pictures and kind of look at the evidence cards. So, sorry, I kind of scrolled all over the place. You have instructions here, and then you have a word bank here to help you with the vocab words, and then it gives you a little sentence starter. But the key part is going to be here where you tell me which of the 2 you think it's closely related to, the whales or the wolves. And then down here, you're going to pick which claim you agree with, based on if you think it's whales or carnivores, which is the wolves. And then down here is going to be where you are writing your evidence to support your claim. You are going to be writing a good amount. You want to have plenty of evidence to back up. We've been spending a lot of time looking at all these different pieces of evidence, and you should have a good collection going. There will be instructions in the Google Classroom to specify how much you should be writing or maybe how many pieces of evidence. So make sure you're looking at that when you're looking at the instructions. And like I said, handing in is important. And then the last thing, I know we usually don't do these, but since you're on your own, you're kind of going through these things at your own pace, this is going to be something that would be helpful. So be honest. You are going to still be responsible for all your work, even tests, quizzes, everything. We're not really changing. The only thing that's changed is this is how we're teaching. I'm teaching over video instead of being with you. So you're still going to do all those things. So be honest with what you're understanding and what you're not. And if you're not understanding, remember your teachers have things that are available to you, like office hours or maybe email or Google Hangouts or whatever your teacher has told you. That's there to help you if you're not understanding something, because this, and you can see it keeps going, those are all the key things you learned so far. This is the end of chapter 3, so there's one more chapter, and then this is the end of this whole unit, so you should be kind of making sure you're good to go. And once you've done all those things, make sure you've handed in everything. Make sure you have completed these 2 Google forms and handed those in. And then you're good to go. And that'll do it for day 5 and 6.